Alright, I think Lulu finally won me over. On the season finale of ChocoProLIVE Season 2, the big selling point of this episode, I guess you could say, was the Pencil Infinity War in the main event between Emmy and Lulu. I tempered my expectations for that match going into it, and I hoped for the best, and what I got was a match that was almost even better than I thought it would be, and a match that was far more entertaining than I was expecting it to be, and a lot better than it had any right to be. By Choco Pro's own standards, it was everything that you could have wanted coming from a match of theirs. You got the absurdity, the competitiveness, the silliness, the everything. I was hoping that they'd prove me wrong about the Pencil Army, but I wasn't expecting them to blow me away. Really, the only negative thing that I have to say about the main event match was the finish being a lot more deflating than it should have been, with Emmy kicking into a quicker speed so suddenly, despite wrestling the majority of the match at Lulu's speed. But even the finish of the match wasn't enough to get me to dislike the match entirely. This was a lot of fun on an episode that I thought would turn out to be a complete drag, with me not being sold on Lulu as a wrestler or even a promotion as absurd as Choco Pro. The opening match on this episode was the only thing that held the show back from being a 10, but I can still give it a pass, with it only really serving the purpose of Tokiko going on a losing streak where she's constantly getting beaten in the first few minutes of the match, causing her to go kind of crazy. If they keep it up, it could go somewhere, so I won't be too hard on that match. As for the second match on the show, look, you already know what it is. I'm a big mark for Mei Suruga. The girl's so damn entertaining to watch, and she has the biggest upside out of everybody in Choco Pro, which is kind of saying a lot, actually. Her matches are like candy to me, and rarely does she ever underdeliver. As far as I'm concerned, the Best Bros versus Mansuru was a classic. It was a match that got me invested and ended in a time limit draw, a gimmick that Choco Pro thankfully doesn't overuse on their shows like, say, Stardom, because it leads to matches like this one having it mean something. This match sent the ball sailing, and even for as much as I believe by that point it's near impossible for the show to fail afterwards, I kind of expected Lulu versus Emmy to be one of the matches that does fail on the show, and maybe even send the ball plummeting down to the ground. Thankfully, though, it didn't. Great show overall, if only a little bit disappointing given that without the first match, the entire show would have been pretty much perfect, but I still had a ton of fun watching. Not to mention the birthday celebration at the end for Lulu was wholesome as fuck, and I kind of felt like a dick for being critical of her work as I have been in the past, but that isn't to say that I was ever knocking the person. I'm glad that she's out here living her dream as a wrestler through Choco Pro. She fits in just fine, even if I don't find her as entertaining as everyone else on most shows. She killed it in the main event with Emmy, and the season 2 finale was as great as it was, thanks to her.